Hello and welcome to another Wevival screencast. I'm Jason Stanball, the founder and COO of Wevival. And today what we're going to be talking about is how you add a blog post to your WordPress site that has the Fox theme installed on it. And so real quickly, this is the site in question. And just to go over some anatomy of where you will see blog posts show up, there are three primary ways that you will see a blog post. First is down here at the bottom of the page, you'll see latest, in this case, latest Rotary News, but this is basically four of the most recent blog posts that have been added to the site. These images here are what we call featured images. That's how that image is pulled through, and I'll show you how to add a featured image to a blog post. Additionally, right here is the title, and this right here is a kind of a blog excerpt. I'll show you how to add that so that this front page continues to look great. But if we head on over to this is actually the main blog page of the site. We see that our featured image, again, this is our same featured image, is blown up, is significantly larger. And as we pan down the page, we see all our blog posts, featured images. Here are our titles again. And if we want to read a full post at any point in time, we click on a title or continue reading. And we are taken to the entire blog post. And so real quick, I want to show you how you would go about creating a blog post again on a WordPress site using the Fox theme. So up here is our URL. We're going to type in WP admin. So again, that's our URL with / WP admin. We then enter our username and password. Log in. And now we are taken to our dashboard just to show you a little bit of behind the scenes here about blog posts. Over here, this is kind of the area where all the action is happening. This is how you administer every aspect of your site. But we're really interested in this post section today. So right here, we see all posts. If I click on that, I see every post that I've made. I'm able to edit it. I'm able to trash it. I'm able to view it. This is a place where you'd go, for instance, if you're trying to find a post later to edit some content on it, or again, take it down if you don't like it. But I just want to show you that that is there. But what I want to burn through here is how you add a new post to the site. So you can click Add New from right here, or you can click Add New from this Post menu. We are then taken to our blank slate, and the first step is to add a title to our post. And so today I'm going to post for a particular customer of mine. They have something called Opinion, which is a newsletter. They post about their previous week's meeting, and so we're going to go ahead and post a Opinion newsletter blog post just to kind of provide an electronic face to a document that they pass out at meetings or whatever. But this is just to provide some online availability to it. And so we're going to call this the Opinion, and we're going to say this is from November 16th, 2011. All right, so our title is added, and our next step is to add content. So you'll notice here that our first view is something we're pretty familiar with. This looks a lot like Microsoft Word. It looks a lot like your email editor, and this is called a what you see is what you get editor. So it's pretty basic. It's very familiar to you, and if you just wanted to start typing, you just type as you normally would. But in this case, I want to go ahead and show you how you can drag some text from an existing document into this blog post. And so let's say I want to post this full text here. I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to copy. All right, let me take my newsletter back over here. And just as this is something that's extremely important, because when you copy text from a Word document, it pulls through some styling that can really make your blog post look funny. So I recommend that instead of using this visual tab and with these sets of tools, flip over to HTML. Now, don't be scared. This, we get a little apprehensive when it comes to computer code stuff, but we don't really need to know any code right now, because basically when we paste into this HTML side, it strips out all of that Microsoft Office junk that comes over if we were to paste on the visual side. And so I'm just going to paste the text that I copied. And bam, here is all of the text that I wanted to have added. And so what you want to do is just add some basic spacing here to the post so it looks real nice. There we go, looking good. So I've just kind of brought some elements together, edited the page a little bit. So after you've done this initial paste, go ahead and go back over to visual. Again, you'll see things that you're comfortable with, and it's the easiest place to administer your blog post. And so here's our text. This looks good. And a couple of things. One thing that I did mention in the previous a screencast where I talked about how to edit page content. This theme, you have to have what is essentially a double space between paragraphs to add enough space to, so it's distinguishable on the screen. So go ahead and make sure that all of your paragraphs have essentially a double return or double enter between them. And then our next step, and this is something that's common with blog posts that you might want to do in the future, are add headers. The headers are really helpful when you're writing a longer post. This one's pretty short, but if we're writing a longer post, a header helps give the viewer some visual cues and help them to scan the page and find the information they want. And so to add a header, and I'm just going to add one here called highlight. And the way you style headers is this little box here says paragraph. That just means it's basic text, right? But if I want a header, I highlight the highlight, hit this down arrow, and I'm given a bunch of options. And so I want to select heading 3. This will style highlight in a different way and help it to stick out in our post. All right, so we've got our title, got our text, and we've styled some of our content. And now we're going to insert a file into this post. And so you insert a file or a photo or any type of content. You can insert anything into this blog post that you want. But in this case, we're going to upload a Word document and insert it into the post. But I'm going to show you how to do that. But just make sure before you go through this process, you have your cursor right where you want it to be. So for instance, if I wanted to insert a photo into this post, I want to make sure my cursor is right where I want it to be inserted. This is the same as in if you're using Microsoft Office. And so, alright, so I want to insert a link in down here that would enable a user to download the paper copy or the hard copy of this newsletter. And so to do that, I click this icon here, the rectangular icon beside Upload and Insert. Wordpress pops up with, this is called a light box, where I can select files. This is enabling to access files on my computer to upload. So when I press select, this dialog box pops up, and then right here, the first item, and you might have to search through on your hard drive in your case, but I already had it queued up. You select the document you want to upload. After you've selected it, it is uploaded, and then the one thing you want to make sure that you do is change the title and make it something that would make sense to someone, because after I press insert to post down here, this file will be inserted, but what will appear on the screen as a visual cue for the user to download the file is the text that appears right here. So I recommend writing something that makes sense, that gives them the cue again, so that they know they can download something. So download the opinion from 11/16/2011. All right, that looks good. And so I'm going to insert it into post. And as you can see, I now have a link. Once this is live, I'll be able to click on this and download it to my computer so that I can view it right in Word. All right, so our file's up. So we've got a title, we've got our text in, we've got a style, we have our link, our document inserted in so people can download it. And now we're going to add a category. And categories are just ways that people can find more of your posts. And so I've already pre-created 4 of them here for this particular customer, but I'm going to select the one that I know this one fits into. And so next we have tags, and these are optional, but this is just additional information to help people navigate through your site. This may be important to some of you, not important to others, but I think it's a good thing to do. And so, typically tags are just kind of more granular detail, like what is this post actually talking about? So this one actually talks about waste to energy. So I'm going to add that. That's what the particular speaker was talking about. And then our excerpt is next. Sorry, before, it's not enough just to type the tag in. We have to hit add. After we've hit add, it's now going to be attached to this post. And now we move on to the excerpt that will appear on the home page of the site. Again, that's that first place where I showed you blogs appear. This is a great way to kind of feature content and intrigue people to read more, which is what we want to be doing. So I recommend grabbing 2 sentences, 2 to 3 sentences at the most. And so I recommend grabbing 2 sentences that kind of capture the essence of the post. So I'm just going to copy those. Again, I'm going to copy that. Click here in my excerpt and paste. All right, so that's taken care of. Now, the next step is to add our featured image. And you don't have to have a featured image, but I highly recommend it. It's pleasing for users to look at. It intrigues them. It makes your site more interesting and more attractive. And so I recommend adding one. You can find images on Flickr underneath Creative Commons, or you can search Google and find some images as well. But I'm going to add an image here. that I thought kind of captured the essence of this post. So again, same process that I went through before to insert that document. I'm going to hit select. I'm going to hit the Set Featured Image button down here. It's going to pop up a light box. I'm going to select Files from my computer. All right, same dialog box appears. I select the image in question. WordPress is going about the process of uploading it to the site. Again, we want to make sure this title makes sense, and so I'm just going to delete those hyphens. And then the last step here is to make sure you press Use as Featured Image. After you've done that, the image has been added to the site. You can either click X or Save Changes to exit. Alright, so that is in essence all the things we need to do to add a great blog post to your WordPress site. And so what I always recommend doing is hitting preview so that you can see what things look like to make sure this post looks the way you hope it will, and if it doesn't look great, you can go back and edit it later. So I'm going to press preview, and preview again is going to pop up a visual preview of what this post will look like on my site. I'm looking at this, I'm really happy with the way it looks. If I was unhappy, again, I hit X here to exit out of that tab, and I go back to where I was editing my post, because again, I only was previewing it, and I can edit anything on the screen here that I need to. But if I'm comfortable with it, and I'm ready to go, I think it's great, I hit publish. Okay, and I always recommend, again, even though we've already previewed it, to go view it live on the site just to make sure that everything looks great. And bam, here is the post live on our site, and just to show you all the places that it will appear, this post is now included on the front page of our site, where we have the latest, this is essentially a feed of the latest blog post, but this is in our case, again, the latest Rotary News. We see this blog post here. If I want to, I can continue reading it and go on to view the full post. Let's take a look at our actual blog page of the site. Here's our post in full view. We're like, okay, it looks great. And then now I want to read the whole thing just to make sure that everything looks good, and in fact it does. So again, folks, that is how you create a blog post on a WordPress site using the Fox theme. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.